Good Saturday afternoon. It's been a couple of weeks since I recorded my last episode, and going back, I had no idea. So I apologize right now that I had actually fused together my two recordings. One was an edited one, and the other one was the original. I was just listening to it just right now and laughing to myself. But you know what? That's life, right? Things happen, and it just means I'm human and I'm not perfect. But I thought I did, edit it and posted the correct one. But that was, the week was a little of a blur. So much was going on at once. And that's part of the reason why I took a couple weeks off to not record anything the last 2 weeks since the Easter one. Not just because there was a loss in the family, just lots of growth happening, I suppose. Lots of projects I was working on, and not everything will work out the way you would like it, and that's okay. It's a learning process for me, and I'm growing as I learn every day through my own personal experiences and being able to reach out to people to see if they would help you out with some of your projects. And that's all you can do. Never be afraid to reach out for help. And not everybody will respond, and not everybody will understand what you're doing or go, along with your thoughts and your plans, but it's okay if they have an interest. The only thing you can do is share what you're working on, and you hope that they would join you. And if they don't, that's okay too, because like I said, we all have different thoughts and ideas and different perceptions on life and how to proceed with our own life, our own journey, and our own goals. And success in anything, not just financially in your career or anything like that, but in your personal projects, your personal goals, and life-term goals as well. It doesn't happen overnight, and I realize that. Of course, when you get rejected or someone doesn't join you right away or don't respond right away, we need to practice the virtue of patience. And like I said, I'm one that likes to act on things immediately. I'm very impulsive when it comes to things because I take action when I know I want to do something. I want to make it happen like right away. If it doesn't happen right away for me, I just feel like I've lost that opportunity, lost that chance. And that's how I have been taking life, since I became an adult, really. I don't sit back and let it pass me by, because that chance may never come again. And even if it doesn't go out, or work out the way you hope it works out, that's okay. As I was saying in my previous episodes, you just got to keep going, keep moving forward, and be focused. There's going to be so many distractions. I know I have all these different social media platforms, and I've let go of some, haven't posted much in a few of the platforms, and then posted more on one because I have a little more connection with that during the past 2 weeks, just with personal stuff that I'm going through, and then also with my goals and stuff as well. So I just, took the last 2 weeks, like I said, took a step back and took a breather to just reevaluate, reflect, and reanalyze to see, where am I going? Am I going in the right direction? And am I reaching out to the right people? Even though I feel like I am, you don't stop. You just keep going. And there are times you just like, bummer, it's not going as planned. Like I said, you just, take a step back, breathe, and, put your shoes back on and start walking again or running again. So it's been quite a journey. And I don't like to use the word hate, but I really don't like to view my life as if it started when I got a divorce. And I've used that a lot, and I realize that now, like, oh my gosh, my life doesn't revolve around the fact that I got a divorce. My life has, evolved long before I got a divorce. My life didn't start, from the end of my divorce. I've been pursuing most of my writing, for example, has been, a passion, has been a pastime of mine for the longest. Since I was in 8th grade, when I loved reading, I read all the time, novels and stories and even textbooks, like history books I loved, before I was able to go to the library and, rent books or borrow books from the library. So it was always been a passion, and I loved writing, and that's how, I get my thoughts across, or to get things off my chest. I would write, almost like a diary to myself, but more just to put thoughts on paper and the things that goes through my mind. So, I'm so thankful for those 2 weeks, and not sure if anybody missed my episodes. If you've been listening to it, I did promise to do, it once, a weekly episode, but sometimes, reality hits, and we just have to be honest with ourselves and be truthful and say, okay, if we don't have a true content to, post or share, then it's not worth it. If it's in your mind, it's not in the right state of mind, or you're not in the right state of mind, it won't be advantageous for anybody. And I did promise you that I would share the priming with you, and that hasn't stopped. I will share it with you after this one episode here. I'm going to do 2 recordings, and I will label it. So when you go into this, you'll know which ones to listen to because it will be a bit elongated. The first one here, I just feel it's extremely important about our beliefs in ourselves, our limiting beliefs, what's holding us back. And a lot of my information, because I've gone to so many of Tony Robbins' events, I've learned so much. I've bought so many books from him and my workbook. So just going through back some of my workbooks that I've had, and then also to refresh and update my information, I've gone to his website. So a lot of my information here today that I'll be sharing, it's coming from a report that I downloaded because it's a refresher course for myself, because it's been a while since I've been to his events because of COVID and the divorce. Again, the big D word, but that's just, my truth right now. But I just want to quick share this. It's how to identify and change your limiting beliefs. The bottom line is, if you change your story, you will change your life. So the story is your narrative of what you tell yourself every day, what you believe is true for yourself. If you just, shift that mindset and change that mindset, change that story, you will be living a different life altogether. It all comes down to a choice, right? One choice will change the trajectory of your life. And that's like changing the story of your life and what you believe. So I'm going to share that with you. So here's health. Okay. Health, in order to create fulfillment in all areas of our life, we must first master our body, because our health, our energy, and our vitality. While we know that health is important, so many of us succumb to the below limiting beliefs, halting our chances to ever make a lifestyle change. Don't let your beliefs prevent you from living the life you always imagine. And this goes so well with my, the title of my podcast, Living Life by Design. Your life should be the life that you envision for yourself. And you should do everything in your power to have that life because you deserve it. So, did you know that there's a staggering of 4 out of every 5 Americans do not get the recommended amount of exercise each week? So health is so crucial for us. And continuing on with this report, it states that, however, if we're not careful, the success cycle will also work in reverse. Beliefs have the power to create and the power to destroy. But what is a belief really? Is it a feeling of certainty? Or it is a feeling of certainty about what something means? The challenge is that most of our beliefs were unconsciously created based on our interpretations of painful and pleasurable experiences in our past. But the past does not dictate the present unless you continue to live there. We can find experiences to back up almost any belief, but the key is to make sure that we are consciously aware of the beliefs we are creating. If your beliefs don't empower you, change them. Will your beliefs be the reason you stop taking actions towards the result you want from life? Or will you change them into the ultimate opportunity to create something extraordinary? Whether it is a transformation in yourself, your career, or your family, the only thing that's keeping you from getting what you want is the story you keep telling yourself, and that came from Tony Robbins. That's his quote, quote unquote. So below, I'm going to read to you the most common limiting beliefs we tell ourselves. By anticipating or perhaps acknowledging that you already have them and changing them, you will be able to create the opportunities for success and fulfillment that so many others will miss. And you'll hear some paper crinkling here in the back because I printed out this report, which is amazing. And I keep, and like I said, I often go back and refresh what I've learned and try to apply as much as I can what I've learned. And it's not always easy, but when I go back and look and go, oh my gosh, I missed something, right? So here's the first facts. One of the first beliefs: I don't have time. Fact: 26% of people think they do not have enough time to make a lifestyle change. You have the same number of hours in a day as everyone else in the world. Why are some people able to capture every moment while others consistently use lack of time as an excuse? It's because for some people, working out is a must, and for others, it's a should. The key is for you to turn your shoulds into musts. You can start by tracking where you spend your time. This will help you to better prioritize and schedule your activities accordingly. Begin each day with a definite plan and put a stake in the ground for what it is that you want out of the day. This is something you must do, not something you should do. And that's where my intentions, if you bought my book, you purchased my book, the Book of Intentions, my journaling, intentional journals. If you purchase that, I use this to say, when you wake up, write down 5 intentions for your day, what you want to accomplish each day, because that's how you will accomplish your goals in whatever you want to do. So this is very pertinent to my book as well. So going on to the next belief: it's too expensive. Fact: 17% of people think it is too expensive to make a change towards a healthier lifestyle. But when you really look at the facts, the cost of eating a healthy diet versus unhealthy diet is only $1.50 more per day. The spare change in your pocket can mean the difference in your life. If you are committed to making a change, don't base your beliefs on common misconceptions. It's easy to say, oh, it's quicker to go to a fast food restaurant or just throw a ramen noodle in the pan or a pot, or take out something frozen, right? Instead of making a salad, fresh salad, or cook some fish or something. Yes, it takes more time, but if you prep your food, being that I used to have my own catering business, prepping takes time, but once you prep, it makes the whole process of cooking so much easier. You'll have everything right at the end, right at the tip of your fingers. Everything's there. Put in a container, chop up stuff the night before if you can. Stuff you want to make smoothie with, make baggies and put them in the freezer. That's what I've done before. Put your fruit and your spinach and all those items, put them in a baggie, a Ziploc. The next day, you just bring it out, pour your milk or juice or water and add your protein powder, and bam, you've got your smoothie for the day or for your morning after your workout. And your meal, prep them the day before or prep them the weekend before. I used to train to be a bodybuilder, and I would prep my meals for the week. So on Sunday, when everybody's, we have family over or what have you, I would prep my meals that afternoon and, prep for the week. I have containers. I've had 30, 40 meals in the refrigerator. And luckily we had a huge refrigerator. So I would pack everything up. And at that time I was married. My ex-husband would take him to work and the kids would have them for dinner. And we would have whatever I made for dinner. But they were all healthy. They were all portions of carbs, a little rice or whether it's rice and portions of vegetables, a mix of vegetables and a protein. And usually they were fish or chicken breast. But my point is, if you plan ahead, you can make things happen. And it also comes down to, like right now, if you want to make a change in your eating habits, it's quick and easy to go through a drive-through, but you don't realize how long sometimes those drive-through is, and you wonder why you're waiting, 10, 15 cars backing up just to wait for a McDonald's sandwich or even a Chick-fil-A, But anyways, make time. If things are important enough for you, you make time for it and it will happen. So that is the second, belief. And the third belief is, I don't have the willpower. The fact is, 27% of people think they have enough willpower to make a life. Don't think they have enough willpower to make a lifestyle change. Willpower is something we are born with. Oh, I apologize. Willpower is not something we are born with. It's a skill we can learn. A muscle we can exercise, a tool that leads to results. Overcome this limiting belief and start moving toward the empowering belief of, if I can't, I must. If I must, I can. Again, if I can't, I must. If I must, I can. Start practicing that and see how that helps your willpower. The next belief is, I don't understand. Fact, according to a recent study, 52% of Americans believe that it's easier to do their taxes than to figure out how to eat healthy. With a belief like this, it's no surprise that many people fail to even get started. Tony has simplified the practice into 12 master principles for a vital life, the 8 gifts and the 4 poisons. Learn to master these, and your understanding and ability to live a healthy lifestyle will grow exponentially. here are the 12 master principles for vital life. The 8 gifts are vital breathing. So breathing, and then living water and live foods. So eat natural foods. Then essential oils. Those could be flax seeds, grapeseed oil, all those essential oils from nuts. And then alkalinity. That's just making sure I don't want to say too much, the balance of what's in your body, like your water that you're drinking, making sure that you have enough alkalinity in your body. I can explain that a little more later. Aerobic energy, which means exercise. Get your heart pumping, your body moving. Maximum nourishment. That means eating enough to survive on. Eat to live and not live to eat. Eat enough and have the right nutrients for your body. And there's structural alignment and directed mind. Those are a little more deep, and I can share that with you in the next one. We can dive into that a little more. I don't want to give information, I don't want to give a general information on those items. So we can dive into that if you need to. Just comment in my episode. Let me know if you want to know more about structural alignment or directed mind. And if you know directed mind, it's just about your mindset, really, about how you perceive things and how you deal with things. Just being focused, really. And then the 4 poisons of your life is processed fats. Your pizzas, your cheese, your anything that's processed, right? All the hydrogenated oil and all the stuff that has all these ingredients in there that you can't even pronounce. So if it's, if you can't read it, you don't know what it means, you probably shouldn't eat it. That's been processed through so many steps and procedures. That's it's like fake food, right? It looks good, it tastes good, but there's no real nutrients in there. And then there's the animal flesh. I'm not promoting being a vegetarian or vegan, but watch what you eat, some of the proteins. So these are what he believes in, but you do what makes sense for you. But I'm just sharing with you what their studies have shown. And then the dairy products, eating too much dairy is not good for you. Like they were saying one study that like cow milk, and I don't want this to be a, what's the word? A controversy. Cow milk are made for cows, for the calves to be drinking. And babies, they said babies can only drink it up to a certain months or age. And after that, their body, can't really process it or digest it like, animals do. The only milk that our babies should really be drinking is from the mother, nursing. And I know there are times that, not all moms can nurse, and we have to use other options, other alternatives, and that's where the cow milk come into play. But, sometimes we rely on that too much. But if it's a basic necessity to nourish our babies, it's understandable. But after a certain month or a year, then once the baby's able to eat real food, they should be eating real food and drinking water. Milk, it should only be at a certain amount. That's what I learned from my studies. I read somewhere in a science report as well, and also just from reading a lot of books and hearing a lot of studies. So, but that's, again, this is just sharing facts from their studies, and you can take it however you can and apply to you however it, is best for you. But it's good to learn, right? To have knowledge that there are things out there that we don't know. And then, of course, acid addiction. And here they mean alcohol. Putting alcohol or coffee, even caffeine, is not really good for your body. I know a lot of us drink coffee. I will have a cup of coffee once, I don't know, maybe once every few weeks. But I love, sometimes I'll just roast the coffee or boil the coffee just for the aroma, because I love the smell of coffee. I myself, my body can't tolerate too much caffeine. As you can see from my episodes here and listening to my YouTube or my other social media platforms, are a high energy naturally. So when I do drink coffee or have tea or something along that line, my energy is tenfold and I'm like bouncing off the wall, and that's just from caffeine. So it's not, I don't need it, luckily, but there are people that, live off of coffee. I've heard, there was a friend of mine from way back, and she's this very petite woman. She's only 4'11", and my goodness, I can't believe that she drinks like 8 to 10 cups a day. I probably can drink half a cup, but I take a sip every so often throughout my morning, and then I save the other half for the next day. That's how much tolerance of coffee I have, or caffeine. So I can only drink half a cup to be realistic, and the other half I do put in the fridge because I can't, drink too much. So just want to share that. So it's not, so coffee really, caffeine in itself, it's not good for your body. And I don't want to go into details about that. You can do your own research or just pull up some information why it's not. But just the acidic in there, it's also a, it really dehydrates you. If you don't know that, it's a, what's the other word? A diuretic. Like a lot of runners, when I was training for my marathons and all the other races I used to do, just drinking coffee in itself in the morning, it's a no-go. You don't want to drink coffee the night before or that morning. You can have it after, but not before your runs, because, no pun intended. It's a diuretic, so I'll leave it at that. So moving forward, I want to read the next beliefs about relationships. Relationships are our most intimate connections, right? They are a place where we dance between desire and vulnerability. In relationships, we are at our most raw and our truest form, and thus exposed to some of the most damaging and limiting beliefs. Whether you're in a relationship or looking for one, don't let your stories threaten your potential for your own great love story. And here's a little quick quiz. Did you know that over 50% of all singles in America have not had a date in more than 2 years? Truth. So here's one of the limiting beliefs of relationships. I don't deserve love. Fact. Insecurity. I know we all have them, and I, for one, will speak for myself. I do as well. Lots of insecurities about different facts. So insecurity. This limiting belief is fatal to your relationship. In fact, it's one of the top 10 reasons marriages end in divorce. Truth. Mine was there as well. Insecurity can be hard to overcome, as we must conquer it within ourselves and within the relationship. Everyone deserves love, but in order to find and keep love, you must first overcome the false belief that you are unworthy of love. Also, be aware that insecurity can lead to jealousy and questioning your partner's intent. This will doom your relationship. I can contest to that. I'm working on that still. You must tap into the power of positive intent. Knowing that whatever your partner says or does, their intent is positive. Cultivate a healthy relationship by creating these new beliefs. Let me know how that works. Like I said, I'm still working on that. We'll see how that goes with me. But it's always good to gain new knowledge, gain new techniques, find new ways to solve our problems, right? Because like I said, nobody's perfect, but we could all use a little help along the way. And if someone is good at what they do and it works, and if proof is in the pudding, so they say, let's give it a try. Always have an open mind. And the other beliefs is all the good ones are already taken. Fact. There are 124.6 million single Americans out there. And yet, most people consider finding and attracting an ideal mate to be some sort of modern day myth. Something that just doesn't happen in real life, but only in the movies. But finding someone is not an impractical dream. It requires getting real and raw with yourself about what you want, and ultimately becoming the person that you need to be in order to attract your ideal mate. Decide on the qualities you're looking for and not looking for. Write them down, be specific, and once you've done that, take massive action. Be accessible. Take a friend, go out and network. Don't turn down dates, advertise yourself. When your energy is focused on meeting someone, your chances of creating that meeting will be much greater. I guess you just have to allow, if you're ready, that is, to date, that is what you should do. Be open, be available, and let it be known that you're available. But if you're not ready, don't put yourself out there, because all you ask for is more hurt, more trouble, and more stress. So do what you need to do when you are ready. Don't think that there is always someone out there for us. There is a soulmate, and you just have to be open to that possibility. That is when you're ready, and know that you're wanting to meet somebody. So on your own accord in that. But I'm just sharing, like I said, these are all the stuff that I'm, kind of going back and trying to share these beliefs that we sometimes put upon ourselves and think that nothing's going to happen for us because, we're not worthy of anything, right? But we're all worthy. We all deserve happiness. We all deserve to be healthy. We all deserve to have a good life, to be financially stable, to live the life that we deserve. And if you don't feel you deserve it, you're going to be stuck where you are. So these are just some of the beliefs that, like I said, I got this from the reports from Tony Robbins's, his page, his website, and also with what I've learned in the past from all of his seminars and my workbooks. So I'm combining these two together. So I'm just sharing this. Some pertain to me, some don't. And this is not my personal agenda. I'm just, like I said, simply sharing this. And the ones that do, I have, that affects me, I do share my thoughts on that, like being insecure and what have you. And, it's a process. It's a work in process. So work in progress, I guess, not process. So anyways, so the next one is, what if I'm settling, right? That's the other myth. Fact, 75% of married people feel that they are settled. As relationships progress, couples often slip into patterns of certainty, which can make them feel as if they've settled. The key is not to get stale. In order to create fulfilling relationships, you must continue to innovate and market with your partner. In the beginning of the relationship, you marketed yourself. You put your best face forward and your best foot forward. You innovated and spent time thinking of ways to make your partner happier than they ever been. Are you still doing those things? Here's the answer. If you do what you did in the beginning of the relationship, there won't be an end. So simply put, if you worked as hard as you did in the beginning, whether it's getting in shape, always, presenting yourself, like appearance, first impression, right? Your first appearance, first impression, always ready and, dressed to the T or to the nine. Pretty much just always being ready and always being perfect, ready to go on your date and with this new person that you're falling for, and you want to spend every time, every second, every minute communicating with them and planning things to do with them. Can't wait to see them the next time. Continue doing that. If you continue looking for ways to do things, to make things more fun, it will work. And it helps if you're, if you're close by so you can do things together. So I've had, situations, my own personal situation where it's pretty tough when you're, 1,000 miles away. But even then, as long as you're in touch with each other every day or as consistently as you can and be in each other's presence and letting each other know that, you care for them, you love them, and, checking on them on a regular basis, not because you're controlling, but because you care and you want to know what they're up to. And if the person is out of touch with you, don't want you to do that because they feel like you're controlling, then, they've already moved on and they're not ready and they don't want to be in that relationship any longer. When you've done the same thing in the beginning and you do the same thing now, and if they see that as something else, then it's time, then that it means if they've moved on, it's time for you to move on as well. So if you can't keep the relationship, as a priority, if you let things go, your relationship will fail as well. And I'm speaking from personal experiences. Sometimes we get a burnout, right? You do everything you can and you feel like you doesn't matter what you do, it's not right or it's not good enough, because then you just realize that the person is no longer interested in you anymore for whatever reason. You can make up all the reason or all the excuses, whether it's distance or circumstances and our own personal situation, family, finances, what have you. There's a lot of contributing factors, just like in anything else. So if you want your relationship to work, first and foremost, don't settle. If you feel like, if you went to a relationship and you felt like, you were head over heels over that person, do what you did before. Keep that momentum going and make every day like it's the first time you've met, and your relationship will work. Like I said, I've gone through a few myself, and I'm no relationship expert, but based on what Tony's saying here, it does make a lot of sense, doesn't it? If you do, the first time you meet that person, you felt what you felt, just recreate what you did and see if that bounces back. And if it doesn't, then I guess the fire has sizzled, right? The smoke. There's nothing left. So sometimes it is better to move on than to be stuck and not be happy. So do what makes sense for you. I just want to share that one with you. And then the other one is, this is also a myth or a belief in relationship as well. In relationships, this one says, I am scared of rejection. And the fact is, science has proven that in the moment of rejection, your heart rate will drop substantially. Your pupils dilate, and the body generally activates the fight or flight mode. The truth is, rejection, quote unquote, is just a meaning you make up. Did they reject you? Or were they just not available? Maybe they had something going on you didn't know about. The key is to find an empowering meaning each time you might feel rejected, so that it propels you forward as opposed to holding you back. So just because you were interested in somebody, you message them, they're not interested, or you thought they were, but for some reason or another, it didn't work out. Maybe they're just going through some stuff. That way you don't beat yourself up, right? There's always somebody out there for you. So don't be afraid of rejection, and don't be afraid to make a move if you are interested in somebody, because if you don't show them that you're interested, they'll never know. It's okay for a woman to make a move. This is the modern age. If you are interested, then you can make your move. It's not, an old world. Like back in the days, you have to let the man make the move. Women have the power as well, and just let it be known, or just, be the first to reach out, to initiate whatever. And if they're not on the same page, move on. Don't feel rejected. Don't feel bad. You just move on. That is when you're ready, of course. And if you're not, like I said, don't go down that route, because you just get yourself into more of an issue than you need to, right? than you need to be in if you're already in one. So now the next one is the limiting belief on career. Today, most people spend more time at work than they do anywhere else. How can we thrive when we spend so much time at a place where we are actively disengaged? What's the secret to breaking through in this area? You need to find something you're passionate about, something you are here for that is bigger than yourself. The success cycle shows us that in order to change our results, we first need to change our beliefs and actions. By anticipating and eliminating these limiting beliefs, we will take action and create opportunities for growth that will lead us to the career of our dreams. Did you know that about 7 out of every 10 employees are not engaged in the workplaces? Kind of need to know, huh? I remember those days when I worked long hours, but I didn't have a family then. And then when I did get married, I was lucky enough to dedicate my time, raising my kids. And I'm doing that as well, even though now, living on my own, I still make that happen. My priorities are still my kids, although I still have to make a living to take care of my, basic necessities and, taking care of myself. So don't let yourself go. Don't let your career take over your life, unless it's, that is your passion, and you can involve your family, if you have family, or your significant other. Let them be a priority as well and have a balance. So here's the other belief. I don't have what it takes to succeed. This is all under the category of career. Fact, in 1979, the Harvard MBA program conducted a study where graduate students were asked, have you set clear, written goals for your future and made plans to accomplish them? Only 3% had written goals and plans. 13% had goals, but they weren't in writing. And 84% had no goals at all. 10 years later, the same group was interviewed. Again, the 13% of the class who had goals but did not write them down was earning twice the amount of the 84% who had no goals. The 3% who had written goals were earning on average 10 times as much as the other 97% of the class combined. Wow, right? In order to achieve success, you need to first commit to making a change in anything. And setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. Right now, take a moment to map out your goals. Make sure the results you are moving toward are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and anchored with a time frame. So simply put, going back to my book, Living by Design, go check it out on Amazon. Get one if you haven't already. It maps out everything for you already. Everything is prompted for you. So each day you write down your daily intentions and what you're grateful for. And in there as well, you have your weekly goals, you have your monthly goals that you can write down, and then your 1 year, 3 year, and 5 year goals that you can plan ahead. So that is already mapped out for you. And I hope that you'll go get it, check it out, see how that works. That way you don't have to, like I said, find a piece of paper somewhere, random pieces of paper or a journal where you'll misplace it. In this book, you can't, this book will keep everything together for you. So, but it's very important. Like anything, if you goals, if you don't write it down, it's not, it can't be achieved because you'll forget it. Once it's written down, make sure you focus on it and take a look at it on a daily basis, just so it's right there in your attention, in your focus, and in your mind. And that's the only way you'll get where you want to go. So it's very, very crucial to succeed. If you want to succeed in anything, have your goals written down and focus on ways to make that happen. Okay. And the next belief is, I could never do that. The fact is, the fear of failure is the number one most common fear holding us back from success. The truth is, there is no such thing as failure. There are only results. Fear destroys our psychology and immobilizes us from taking action. Fear is hardwired into every human being. Nothing we do in our lifetimes will take away fear. The secret is learning how to use fear instead of letting fear use us or use you. So remember that. Let go of your fear and make things happen. It's okay to fail. It can only make you stronger if you learn from what you have failed in. The next one is, I don't have the skills or talent. Fact. More than 9 out of every 10 entry-level occupations require on-the-job training. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. Life requires progress, so keep learning. To grow and find fulfillment, you must resolve that stagnation is not an option. Be the creator of your life and decide to live life on your own terms. Turn uncertainty into action. Focus on a vision. Decide and commit. Resolve to change. When you commit, there will always be a way. And the next one is the subject matter of money. Who isn't worry about their finances, unless you're a millionaire or a billionaire, you have, or you're, kids that have money, right? You were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. But if you don't, if you're just like most of 90% of the population, we do, worry about money. Because if you're working for somebody, you never know when that could be your last day, or if there's room to grow, if there's a ceiling to be reached, or to break the glass ceiling or what have you. When you're working for somebody, there's always a limit. When you're, unless you start your own business, then the sky is the limit, right? Or be above and beyond the sky. So here's money. Money is just as simple as a 5-letter word, but it has the power to elicit extreme human emotions: guilt, anger, frustration, joy, happiness, freedom. At its core, money is about power. whether you have it or you're working towards it, money is ever so often a source of limiting beliefs. The American dream is still attainable. To achieve it, we must learn to master money before it masters us. Okay, did you know that as many as 59% of people think that the American dream has become impossible for most people to achieve? That's all due to limiting beliefs. Okay, the next question, the next belief is, I am just not good with money. Fact, over 60% of Americans report not having a spending or investment plan. It's hard to be good at something if you do not have a strategy to improve. In order to win, you have to know the rules of the game and learn the best strategies for success from those who have already mastered it. Success leaves clues. People who succeed at the highest level are not lucky. They're doing something differently than everyone else. By following Tony's 7 simple steps to financial freedom, you too can become a money master. And we can go into that later, or you can, if you are interested into finding out Tony's 7 simple steps to financial freedom, just message me through my episode, make a comment, and I'll get you those steps for you, okay? And the next belief is, I'll never make enough money. Fact, how many times have you uttered the phrase, I'll never make enough money? Or perhaps you just thought it. The stress caused from such a thought is daunting. Nearly 3/4 of Americans surveyed attribute their stress within the last month to money. The first step to creating financial freedom is to tap into the power of compounding. Make your money work for you so you don't have to. To take advantage of the power of compounding today, make the important decision and decide what portion of your paycheck you will set aside and pay yourself for the future. Even the smallest amount of money, combined with the miracle of power of compounding, can give you financial independence without having to make a fortune in annual income. The fact is, you are not a manager of circumstances. You're the architect of your life's experience. Be sure to get what you want out of life. Another very common belief is money is made to be spent. Here's the fact. According to a 2011 study, half of all Americans would struggle to come up with $2,000 in a crisis, such as an unexpected medical bill, legal costs, or home or car repair. So while you may think that money is made to be spent, this belief could leave you desperate in a crisis. Automate a specific percentage of your paycheck to go into savings in order to make sure that this will never happen to you. Think about it. It wouldn't take a lot of focus or a lot of savings for you to be better off than more than half of America. Although you may think you cannot afford to save, if the government excise a new tax, you would find a way to pay for it. Think of this as a necessary tax in order to protect yourself, and it will definitely pay off in the long run. Here's another belief. I'll never be able to retire. The fact is, with longer lives We expect longer, much longer years for our retirement. 50 years ago, the average retirement was 12 years. Someone retiring today at age 65 is expected to live to 85 or longer. That's 20 plus years of retirement, and that's the average. Many will live longer and have 30 years of retirement. The truth is, we need to save more and invest more. When planning for a retirement, make sure you evaluate all of your options. That's what I have in the beliefs. All of our limiting beliefs. There are ways to work around these limiting beliefs to create a better life for yourself. So thank you so much for listening to this portion of the episode. And I will do the priming next. And you're listening to Chai with Living by Design with Chai. And have a fabulous rest of your day and weekend. God bless. Take care. Bye-bye.